What you'll learn in this video: pool location, excavation, plumbing, electrical, polymer and steel panels, pool delivery, concrete ring, concrete floor, concrete patio, and high water table, costing, and what you'll need to pay extra for. This is our pool. It's 20 by 46 and 8 feet deep. My wife and I did it with between ourselves and some good friends and neighbors, family. And we're 58 years old when we did this. We started in July, we finished in October. It took about 3 months for the whole portion between digging and putting in the water. And my advice is, when you run into problems, and you will run into problems, take one at a time. Get the problem, fix it, and then go on to the next thing. And you'll end up with a nice pool. And out with the old girl. Be prepared when your pool supplies come in. It does take up a lot of space, and you have to ensure that everything you ordered has come in on the truck. Some of the things that we were missing or damaged, broken, was one bubbler gaskets, wall foam to 2 rolls, polymer panel, as you can see, is damaged, and deck drains were also damaged, and the weigh bills were not accurate. So there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration when you receive the products. Note it down. At the end of the day, we had to buy our polymer panel. We had to buy our 2 rolls of foam because we couldn't prove who lost them, where they were lost. That's the deck drain that you're looking at, which is all cracked and broken. And again, they didn't help us out with it, so just be prepared when you do that. When you go to Canadian Customs, the biggest thing is ensure that you have everything laid out on the list. If you're declaring it, you have it, and if you don't have it, don't declare it. You will have to pay your taxes on it.
So this is one of 7 huge rocks that we have dug up just to make our hopper. And we took the other ones that were just as big up on a sleigh that Bear built. But the incline is really, really high. I don't know, well, it's 8 feet down, so we're getting tired, and so Bear's trying to cut it up in the hole so that we can continue. This is the hole that we've dug for the hopper, and this pile, I don't know if you can see how deep it is, but that is all the guck that we have thrown out of the hopper, and it's now been 24 hours and it's dry. So now we have to fill it up with buckets and carry it out of the pool. So that's what we're doing right now.
So when you're doing your pool, you want to make sure you have a lot of good friends. And these guys and gals really helped us out a lot. Without them, we'd be in a big pile of hurt. It does take a lot of manpower, muscle to put your pool together, but the end result is it's really worth it. Great thanks to all these guys. This coping, it's all a 2-foot radius is what it is. And we were finding it was difficult to bend it around. It was sort of twisting and stuff, not working too well. So what I did is, in between every cut, I used my scroll saw and I made another cut. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but that's what I did. And there's no real video that Pool Warehouse comes out with to tell you what you should do and shouldn't do. They just sort of say, well, bend it around the corners. Yeah, for a lot of people, it's not quite that easy. And so as you can see, all I did was made a duplicate slit like they did, and it seems to bend a little bit easier. So here we have polymer panel and steel panel, and when they sent it, there was no instructions how to join them together. So what you have to do after we made the phone call to find this out is you line them up, clamp them, so they're perfectly level, everything's level and squared. And then I took a pencil and circled where these bolts are going to go, put a little circle mark on it, pull out the polymer panel, drill all the holes, and here we have, I believe, six holes for 6 nut and bolts. After you drill them, put them back, clamp them, and then put your nuts and bolts in, and then you should be good to go. We'll find out. Right here is our tanning ledge, some bubblers, and the stairs going down to the shallow end of the pool. When this is all put together, we ran into a problem, and one of the problems was they didn't send us page 3 of the instructions, or we didn't get it, misplaced it, whatever. So underneath here, these are all separate, and underneath at the bottom there's one bar. It's about 3 feet long, and it goes from the front here all the way to the back, all the way to the very front of the stairs, and that locks these things in, the supports at the bottom. These supports lock in your stairs, and all the stairs are connected to each other. And I do have to say, this steel is pretty phenomenal. It's strong as anything. Even before the concrete went in, we were walking up and down the stairs with no support underneath, no concrete support underneath, and they're just not budging. It's hundreds of nuts and bolts. That's a lot of work, but once it's in, and it's not moving. These are our bubblers. We have 2 bubblers, and a bubbler will come from, at the very end, the heater. The pipe comes, the water pipe, the return comes, and it comes out here, and it makes a kind of a little bubbling thing when you're sitting on a tanning ledge. The kids can play with it, and there's also a light. So when you get these, you have to run the electrical conduit back to your panel, and you have to run the water from your heater or your system back into the pool. And again, it takes a lot of piping, and it's quite a bit of work. And they don't send any piping with this, I don't believe anyways. We had to go out and buy an extra, could be 200 feet of the white conduit, and it's expensive. It's $3 a foot or something, $3 a foot. And so it's an expense that you have to take into consideration if you're going to get these. I believe at the end we're going to hopefully show a video of everything finished, and you'll be able to see this, and I think it's going to be worth it in the end. This is the steel steps and tanning ledge, and it's steel, and we have polymer on the rest of the pool. I don't know if you can see in the video, but it sort of bows in right here, in this way. And I don't know if it was damaged in shipment or the way it comes. I have no idea. When you get this, there's no outside bracing. In the other steel or polymer panels, you can actually adjust in or out. This you can't because they didn't send us any braces. Don't know if they should have, but we didn't get any braces. So when I called the company in reference to this, they said, when you put the stones in first, try to push it out, and the weight of the stones should make it go out. I think we're kind of left with this, and I don't think it's going to straighten out with the stones, but we'll see. And perhaps maybe I'll take some kind of cable and drill some holes through here and see if I can ratchet this to pull it out before we put the stones in. We'll see. Okay, so this is the Aqua Genie, and we're having foam forms put up here, so the concrete's going to be fairly high. So when they send you the package, and they put all this stuff in the package, putting it together, you have this coming down inside, and it's way too low. So they say put on the extension collar. So we take the extension collar, and then you drop this down inside, and they only send you the one extension collar, which gets you up, I don't know, about 2-3 inches. But with the foam form, it's not enough. And the company knew that we were getting foam form and the Aqua Genie, and it should have been standard. So we have 2 Aqua Genies. So when you take the other ring and you put it inside the Aqua Genie, or on the backwards again, and then you drop it in. Now the Aqua Genie is a perfect height for your foam form, but they didn't send you 2 of these per Aqua Genie, so you have to go out and you have to buy another one, or go to Pool Warehouse and say that you need the double collar when you order it, and you'll probably have to pay for that extra one. Getting into the plumbing from right to left, 2 Aqua Genie skimmers. That's the first 2 that you see. The next 2 is there 2 returns to the Aqua Genie, and then a return, and then the 2 bubblers on the left side of all that. You can see the pump, there's the DE filter and the heater. This is all the concrete after the ring has been poured. The 2 bubblers you can see right here. Just a spaghetti of electrical and plumbing. Main light. We have 2 main lights. And that's a light in the swim out bench. There's a return plus another main light. And these are 2 small lights that illuminate the staircase. A massive rock, many big rocks. We had to hand carry those out. Got my saw, cut them in half, hauled them out. And that's a lot of plumbing. One thing I would like Hayward to do, if Hayward ever watches this video, why don't you make everything the same height? So when you're doing it, you don't have to go up, down, around. Everything should go in one way, out the other at the same height. So you don't have to go with all the elbows and all that sort of stuff. I don't know why they do that. The DE filter, you got it going up to the pump and then down to the heater, and crazy. Anyways, it is what it is. So you just do all the plumbing. We have a salt cell that you see sort of there also. Okay, in this shot we have, I put in a light which goes into kind of the skimmer return. It is a skimmer return, but there's no water coming through it. It's just conduit and so forth. And the light that I bought goes inside that. And we had to use a 3-inch hole saw into the steel. At first I was really not wanting to come out here and do it, but I went and bought a hole saw, and it took all of about 15 seconds to go through. It really went well. I just showed you the light from inside the pool around the bench that we had placed the return, and this is all the plumbing for the return right here. So it comes out, it's all locked in. You put 1.5 inch PVC and glue it all in place, glue everything, and then you got your rigid PVC. This is a picture, other than my dog, This is the actual light that's going in. It's very small here, but as you can see, it's about a foot long, right? 12 inches. And this part goes inside the return. So it goes in this way, and then you run all your wiring to the place where you have your transformer. It's 12 volt, and I think this one is, you can get it in 50-foot cord, 75, 100, or something like that. So definitely get enough what you need, and do not be short because you can't cut the wire. So you have to pull it in, and they say leave a little bit of excess wire here so you can actually take the light out when you need to take it out. There's a little tool that you take. As you screw it, this little rubber piece actually expands. It gets a little bit bigger, and then when it gets bigger, it stops the water from going out. And I had to figure that out. The instructions are never the greatest. Not sure who makes those things. And then after you've done that, you have your faceplate with a couple of your gaskets. Make sure your gaskets go on, and that keeps the water from leaking out. So when we bought the light, it comes with the light, and that's about it. And Pool Warehouse also gives you the return. So between the return and the light, there's all kinds of missing parts that you need. So I bought an 1.5-inch adapter, which goes into the back of the return, and it has threads, so you have to make sure that you put a lot of tape over the threads, about 10 revolutions, I think they say. And then from that adapter, you have an 1.5-inch PVC, and then you have the one that joins it from the PVC to, there's 2 adapters in there. One brings it down to, from an 1.5 inches, brings it down to, I believe it's an 1.25 inches, and then the next one is from an 1.25 inches down to 1-inch PVC. And you have to make sure that you use a lot of glue, make sure there's no leaks, because it probably is going to have water in there eventually. So this is our sand and cement mixture, and what it is basically 1 part cement, Portland cement, and 5 parts sand with water mixed in it, and it's a real dry compound. When you take it, when you put it in the pool, it's not like peanut butter as some of the videos describe it. Not this anyways. This is a different mixture, and then we're going to go to the pool and show you the finished product. That's good enough.
So that is the grout, is what they call it in Canada. We're in Ontario, Ottawa, Ontario, and it looks like it's just sand, but it actually is not. And they have a little bit of water, but it pours out like sand, and you have to press really hard, and that's what the finished product looks like. So it does come out really nice.
So this is our finished product. We put it down, and this is about 24 hours later. And as you can see, I can walk on it without any problems. It's hard as rock. It's really nice. It came out quite well, quite pleased with it. The way we did it, we brought it from the cement truck, they mixed it, and we brought it back with wheelbarrows and dumped it over the side. And when it's over the side, then you take shovels and use your shovels to throw it onto the wall, throw it where you need it to go, and you use the pool trowels, and you can trowel it in. When you push it in, it does take quite a bit of strength. You have to take it and actually push it into place, and then you shape it and form it, and this is basically the end result that you want, something similar to this. Okay, if you're squeamish, now's the time to look away. This is my knee after we did the bottom of the pool. It's kind of like sand, beach sand. So when you're at the beach, you know, you're kneeling down in the sand, you're playing with the kids, and it's all fine. Well, what we didn't know is the sand has a lot of lime in it. And it went into my sweatpants and through there onto my knee. And within about 4 hours of kneeling down, that's what your knees are going to look like. So don't kneel down in it. And if you do, wear some knee pads that you can be protected. close as you can, yeah. That's good there, Dave.
That's good?
Yeah, he's gonna hit the board. That's okay, right on top. This is our concrete work that we're doing now. It's ashlar slate with the release agent is gray, a charcoal, and a terracotta color. That's our first portion that we did, my wife, myself. This that you're looking at, it did crack a little bit on the foam forms. So you got to be careful that when you're doing it into the foam form, you don't push too hard. And we did this whole thing in 3 sections. It took us 3 different days to do it. It's a lot of work. You might want to start out with a sample area somewhere. Make yourself a small patio, let's say, 8x8 or whatever you decide. And then that way you get the timings down pat. How fast does it dry? When should I stamp it? When should I color it? And so forth. The end result is it turned out really well, I think. I was quite pleased with it. But it's a heck of a lot of work. It's a lot of muscle power that you have to do. But in the end, the dog approves, so if she approves, we all approve. And that's basically the end result right there. This liner weighs a good 200 pounds, so it's at least a 4-person job to do this. You can't do it with just 2 people. And here's how the whole thing turned out. These are some of the things when you purchase your pool that are not included with the actual pool. Anything from tools to dirt and gravel, water, etc. You can pause the list and have a look at these. And I'm sure I've forgotten a couple of things that should have been written down, but this is a good starting point to find out what you're going to have to pay for other than the pool itself. If you want to cut costs, this is a list of some things that you can cut out. We put them in, but you don't have to have it. An example is a pool heater. You don't have to have a pool heater, but it sure is nice. So have a look at this again. Pause the video if you would like. So we have a very high water table, and the way we corrected this problem, we dug a trench around basically the whole pool. It starts at the bottom in the center, and it goes to the left all the way to the top, and it goes over to the right. So 3/4 of the pool has this trench around it, and it starts at 7 feet deep, and it goes to about 9.5 feet deep at the end. And at the end is where we have our sump pumps. And so the water is taken away from the pool, brought into the sump pump. We pump it from the sump pump to the front ditch, and it's taken away. And this is how we solved our problem with a very high water table.